Hey BookTube! Today I wanted to discuss something that I've never seen anyone post a video about, but I think it's a bit relevant because we are part of a reading community. My first semester of college, I took an Intro to Mass Communications class which focused on different types of media, one of which being magazines. And at that point of my life, I hadn't read a magazine in a long time. I mean, they still existed in like the very back of my mind, like in the grocery store, you see them all the time. And as a kid, I had read a lot of magazines, from like the National Geographic kids ones to just the ones with like, what was the one that had like the puzzles in it? And then like, of course, 17 magazine, American Girl doll magazine, that was my thing. I grew up around magazines, and I think that's true for a lot of people. But after I took that class, we began discussing magazines, and we were getting into how that industry is dying and how obviously like social media and TV news and internet is taking over that type of print. During that class, it actually inspired me to go pick up a subscription to 17 magazine, because I mean, I missed it. Like, I'm 19 at this point, I'm not super into fashion, but there was just something about reading this girly magazine with lots of different stories and just insights and stuff. It's something that I felt I couldn't find anywhere else. I know 17 obviously has an online website where you can basically just go read the same stories and you can take quizzes, and it's a lot more interactive, but it wasn't the same as actually receiving this in the mail and getting to be like, wow, Chipotle, print advertisements. There's something unmatched to picking this up, and like, I don't think before reading these I had ever read a magazine word for word, like even the tiniest captions. Like, I actually got this and intended to read every single thing in it instead of just looking at the pictures. And I've realized it was so much fun. I love magazines. The thing that makes that exponentially better is how ridiculously low priced all the magazine subscriptions are right now. Like, the magazine industry knows that we are moving into a digitalized age, and so if you go on any magazine subscription page, the prices are dirt cheap. Like, offensively cheap. I think I was able to get a 2-year subscription to 17 magazine for like, I want to say $8 just for like a price point. I think these cost $4 or $5 on their own just at newsstand price. So I think I want the point of this video to be like an unpaid advertisement for the magazine industry, because we're all readers, and I know magazines tend to be nonfiction, and I mean, I don't want to be like this nonfiction mogul who sits here and I'm like, nonfiction is the best genre, we all need to read more of it, because I don't know if you know, but this box on my bookshelf is all the nonfiction that I have compared to this entire shelf, so it's not like I'm some sort of nonfiction enthusiast, but I do think it's important to read, and I think this is a really simple and engaging way to get that in my life. I just dropped half these magazines, hold on. Obviously 17 magazine isn't even a really good example. It's just an example of an entertaining one, and one that I've known from childhood. But the real reason I'm making this video is because I recently went to a bookstore where they sell used magazines for 25 cents, and I wiped out their entire National Geographic section. This is only like 6 out of the 30-something copies that I got, and it's already really heavy. I fell in love with National Geographic. I mean, I've always been fascinated by National Geographic. I've always been like, I wonder what is happening in Europe, or I wonder what is happening in Africa. But this actually takes you there. It's just such an unprecedented format to me. Like, usually if I want to look at what's happening in the world, I'll be like, oh, a documentary. So the one that I'm reading right now is actually a January 2016 issue, which is recent. And this is one about national parks. Within the first 5 pages of reading this, I was going downstairs and I was like, did you guys know that if we don't stop global warming, like 80% of the world is gonna be susceptible to the dengue fever? Little random bits of knowledge that I didn't even know I cared about are now just like so present in my brain. I guess this is also a discussion for just in general, like learning things is fun and nonfiction is fun, and just like finding out about the world and all the other cultures is really good for your mind. But there's just something about the fact that it's in a magazine format, like knowing that as soon as I can finish this, I can recycle it and it can become pictures in my journal. For example, I was just reading this one spread. There was a photographer spotlight, and this photographer is someone that specializes in panoramas, and what he does is he stays in one area for like 24 hours at a time, and he takes pictures both at sunrise, sunset, during the day, during the evening, at night when the stars are out. And this is one thing he did in the Serengeti, and it is just a panorama of the sky and this waterhole in the Serengeti throughout all times of the day. So there's night, there's day, there's dusk. It's just, this was so appalling to me, and I know that I would have not had the reaction that I'm having to this this if I would have seen this picture online. I just wanted to be a little cheerleader for a couple of minutes of your day and tell you that magazines, although I've only so far had 2 that I've been able to read through, they are such a great media outlet for knowledge and for entertainment value. So I wanted to just stress for like 5 minutes of your day. I know that newsstand prices for magazines are a little bit ridiculous right now, but if there is a magazine that you see, please support them. I don't anticipate that magazines will be around forever. Maybe they will. I know a lot of people say that the book industry is dying out, and that has proven to be a myth. I just think about photographers like that one man I just showed you and how much time and effort it takes. He's spent 26 hours on an 18-foot high scaffold to take those pictures. Just like the amount of energy and the amount of dedication that goes into that, I just think is really worth picking one of these up. So my final advice to you, any magazine subscription right now is gonna be around $10 for like 12 issues, which is so insanely cheap. Even if you have used bookstores like I do that sell magazines, I would highly recommend just getting one and flipping through it and appreciating this dying art. I feel like such a hipster right now that's just like, oh, magazines were so 2002, you should go read one. I don't know. I just have so much love for National Geographic now that I didn't think I would ever feel, and I just want you guys to know how great I think magazines are, and I wanted to spread the magazine love because maybe in like 15 years I'll rewatch this video and be like, remember when magazines still existed? Okay, so that is everything. Let me know if you guys still read magazines. Again, the reason why I'm posting this is because no one ever talks about magazines. It's just like you flip through it at a doctor's office and that's it. Wanted to spread the love a little bit, wanted to let y'all know how great National Geographic has been, and until next time, I don't know what I'll do. I'll just probably sit here and read. Goodbye!